Morning. Everyone who's here for the next presentation, if we could just have a seat. I know that the last one was pretty popular, so everybody stuck around for that one. My name is Steven. I work for the FinTech Surge, and I'm excited to introduce our next speaker. So here I have Dr. Gökçe Phillips, co-founder and CEO of the Crypto Index series, and she will be joining us and giving an amazing, insightful presentation on the institutional adoption of digital assets, present and in the future. So let's give a round of applause for Dr. Gökçe Phillips.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Gökçe Phillips. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Crypto Index series. I just want to quickly check my clicker in case it doesn't work from different sides of the stage, because I quite like to be interactive. Right, brilliant. Okay, so we will be talking about institutional adoption. What I mean by institutional adoption is what are crypto funds doing? What are banks doing? What are digital asset banks doing? Asset managers, wealth managers are doing in the digital asset space. So let's have a look at our agenda quickly. We've got a quick introduction about ourselves and institutional adoption, current outlook, how has been so far, the journey, and then we're going to be looking at our own positioning, and the second part of the presentation I'll quickly be telling you about data sets in the digital asset space. So let's move on. This is me. I have a PhD in computer science from University of York in the UK, and then I moved on to do managing projects, and back in 2019 with my CTO, we partnered and set up the Crypto Index series. And this is Crypto Index series registered in the UK. We have operations both in the UK and in Turkey. We are mainly operating in Switzerland and Germany, and we are we're looking forward to working in Dubai as well. And these are some of our investors. Right, so when I say institutional adoption, why? That's a question one should ask. Why should they care? Why should institutions care about digital asset adoption? The answer is because there is demand, and the demand is from the mass public. So you and I and the people out there on the street would like to now have services in digital asset from institutions, and that's why. So for example, in Web 1 technology, they wanted to show us some static data. In Web 2 technology, they wanted to give their current processes online, and now in the Web 3 technology, they actually don't want to be doing anything. But it's us, the people on the street, we'd like to see more services from banks. What kind of services would like to be seeing? Let's have a quick look. So first of all, I'd like my money to be transferred quickly. That's probably one of the services. I don't want to be waiting 3 days for the SWIFT transfer. And then another one called storage of assets, especially the big banks, asset managers, wealth managers, they're looking to store their assets in cold wallets. So that's another service. Yet another one, payment in digital assets. It may not, well, I think in Dubai as well, actually, I heard that there are some services allowing you to pay in digital assets. This is also very common in Switzerland and Germany and Austria and places like that. Another one, investment in digital assets. So, in the past, not everybody would be trading in a New York Stock Exchange or, Swiss SIX Exchange and so on. But right now, many of us are actually investing in digital assets in, crypto exchanges. Another one, fractional ownership. I mean, we could be looking at owning a fraction of a skyscraper in the US. So that's yet another service us, as people on the street, would like to be having from the banks or other institutions. And finally, DeFi services. I mean, I shouldn't be saying finally. There are so many other services, but just this is probably a summary. So DeFi, when I say DeFi services, it can be staking, it can be lending, it can be borrowing, mortgages. So many services we may want to be taking in digital assets from our banks, but they're not there yet. And because the demand is coming from the ground up, they are actually looking to adopt. But where to start? I mean, for them, I think that's the main question. Many institutions do not really know where to start. Should they be providing, payment service? Should they be providing a cold storage of assets? And here is sort of my view of where should they be starting. They obviously need pricing data to show. They need, analytics. They may want to be giving me the, let's say, allowing me to trade through them. So rather than going to Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, all these other different exchanges, I actually want to be trading through my bank possibly. Portfolio management, custodian, KYC, and AML. So these are the other types of services that I may be wanting to get from the financial institutions. Now, how does it look? What has been done so far? Some of this research is we've done in-house, and some of this research, obviously others are doing. So you'll see the source if we take it from somebody else. Right, this is from FINOA. It's showing over time from 2020 over to May 2021, sort of the different types of news that has been done over time from institutions. Right here, around about September, you'll see, MicroStrategy announcing Bitcoin purchase, and then you'll see Stoneridge, and then Mass Mutual. In fact, in October 2020, PayPal said that they'll allow crypto payments. And this was also one of the other big news. And from then on, the price of Bitcoin also increased. So we really see the institutional adoption from around, June, July, August 2020 onwards. And this is another study telling us about, how do financial advisors, high net worth individuals or hedge funds, how are they looking at this space? This is a survey done by Fidelity Digital Assets. As you see in US, hedge funds and VCs have already invested in digital assets, and in Europe, it's a good percentage of most of the actors have already invested. And in Asia, financial advisors and high net worth individuals have been very active in the investment, and hedge funds are probably following the trend. And in terms of crypto funds, so this is a study from Kraken Intelligence. It's showing how the fund market have been doing over time. It's obviously increased from 0 billion up to 60 billion by 2021. And majority of this is obviously coming from the legacy financial institutions. So we're not talking about new type of actors coming into space. These are actually the people who've been doing traditional fund management, but now they decided to do crypto fund management. This goes up to 2021, and then I wondered how does it look in 2022? And this is how it looks. In 2022, it's you're looking at 81 billion under management by crypto funds. And these are who they are in case you are curious about it. So there are a lot of actors from North America and Asia. Interestingly, actually, we've talked to some people here in this crowd telling me about them opening a crypto fund in Germany, for example. So, this is not future, this is happening right now. And these are some of the asset managers that have been very active in this space, and let's have a look what they've done. BlackRock is obviously one of the biggest ones, and they've recently introduced an ETF. So this is big because BlackRock is a traditional asset manager coming into the space. We're also talking to BlackRock, in many different ways. They have a platform called Aladdin. This is in traditional space, but they're looking to integrate crypto trading into their platform, Aladdin. Fidelity International, they launched an FBTC, a physical Bitcoin exchange-traded product. And State Street has teamed up with Copper, a big custodian, to obviously store cold storage. Now, a couple more asset managers here. Goldman Sachs, they're offering options and features, trading in Bitcoin. Grayscale announced the establishment of a smart contract fund. This is again a very interesting one in terms of fund. They excluded Bitcoin in their fund. So except Bitcoin, there's all the other sort of smart contract currencies are included in the fund. And then BNY Mellon, they launched a new firm. In fact, I had prepared this slide a couple of days ago, and then yesterday there came news saying BNY Mellon just launched the cold storage for their customers. So really, it's something different is happening every day. Okay, and let's have a quick look at banks. So we talked about crypto funds, we talked about asset managers. Let's see what banks are doing. These are the number of investments that some of the big banks have done in the last 2-3 years. It's quite. First, I wanted to give the numbers, and then I'll be giving the investment amounts. So obviously, Citibank, Barclays, Standard Chartered, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they have all been active in the space. And these are the figures. So Standard Chartered and BNY Mellon are, two of the very active ones, spending a lot of money on. This is not investment in crypto. This is investment in startups who are dealing with crypto. So, just to put it right. So their investments in crypto is a separate matter. That's, AUM, asset management work. These banks are actively investing in crypto companies so that they can provide those services that we mentioned in the beginning. What are those services? The data, the storage, the trading, custodianship or staking and so on. So these guys are looking to provide those services to us. And then, in fact, on top of this, recently Morgan Stanley made follow-on investment to NYDIG, and that round was about 1 billion growth equity fund. Another one, BNY Mellon, made a follow-on investment in Fireblocks, yet another custodian in the space. And then Commonwealth Bank of Australia participated in Gemini's 400 million, because Commonwealth Bank of Australia actually announced that they would be providing trading to their customers. So this is not, a hidden agenda. This is happening. And in terms of investment areas, so when we looked at the companies that those banks have investments, these are the areas that those companies are operating. There is data, KYC, AML, DLT technologies, custody, identity, trading, portfolio analytics, staking, and trade finance. In other words, this is giving us all clues as to what banks are interested in bringing services to us. So these are the areas that we'll be seeing services. Right, so we talked about asset managers, crypto funds, banks, and finally I also wanted to show you what's happening in the traditional exchange space. Right, and here are some of the traditional exchanges. Let's see what they were doing. This is our own in-house research. We are publishing reports every now and again. I'd be happy to share for those of you who are interested. There's Nasdaq, LSE, Stuttgart Börse, Swiss Exchange, Deutsche Börse, Tokyo Stock Exchange, and so on. Now, most of these exchanges are obviously interested in data, custody, trading, portfolio, and index activity. In fact, this is outdated because yesterday, after I prepared this slide, Swiss Exchange there announced that they are collaborating with a custodian in the space and would be looking to do cold storage for Bitcoin and Ether. Right. So that also shows that stock exchanges are looking to operate very actively in the digital asset space. So, how do we position here, and what are the interesting other areas for us? We looked at data, trading, portfolio analytics, and so on, and then we also, the reason we're doing all this research is to understand, how big players are moving and how we want to move as a company. Okay, so these are the three areas that we're looking at. What kind of challenges are there? So why should an asset manager not do everything in-house? Can they do data collection, data normalization? Can they connect to trading on their own? Can they do portfolio analytics? And then we've seen that the institutional actors we just talked about, if they want to do everything in-house, it will be a nightmare. Imagine you're an experienced asset manager, fund manager, you're brilliant about trading strategies, you're brilliant about portfolio management, but you don't want to be worrying about data collection. You don't want to be worrying about whether you have good real-time data, because you want to assume that you already have it, because you want to focus on your strategic initiatives or strategic activities rather than worrying about these. So this is crypto index areas where we come in. We have normalized market data, lots of different data really I'll be telling you more about. And then we allow access to trading exchanges, and we do scalable portfolio analytics solutions for institutions as well. Now, this was the first part of my presentation, telling you what's happening in terms of the institutional space in digital assets. And then in the second part, I'll be telling you more about digital asset data. Okay, and for those who are interested, these are some of our solutions. We have a bundled API solution where you can directly get data. You can access trade API, meaning you can actually send buy and sell orders to various exchanges, and then you can do, we would be collecting transactions and do the portfolio analytics for you. We also have a portfolio analytics solution. It's a scalable solution. We can process hundreds of thousands or millions of transactions and giving you performance indices, lots of other interesting portfolio analytics information. And again, we have a platform for those who are interested. And finally, we also have index services. Indices are another interesting area, because talking about institutions, there is exchange-traded funds or exchange-traded products. I don't know if you've ever heard. So there is indices behind all these products, and there again we have index services for institutions who are interested in, providing crypto index funds to their customers, for example. So this is another area that we are active. Right, so this was a little bit about marketing, obviously, since I'm on the stage and you're listening to me. And now on to a bit more information about the data sets, because I thought this would be an interesting area to focus on, as well, as most of the institutions are interested in data. Okay, when I say data, there is financial data, real-time, and financial data, real-time data, historical time series data, and which should be searchable and analyzable format. And we have taxonomic data, in which we classify the crypto assets so that you can do interesting trading activities or portfolio analysis with it. News data, social media data, and some of the other derived data, such as indices. So, as we know, there are so many crypto exchanges, and there is so much order book and transactional data going through these exchanges. So this is one of the data that is interesting for institutions and that we collect. And when I say financial data, as I said, there's real-time analytics. So, you're looking at different types of real-time data, 24-hour tickers, candlesticks, aggregation by pair, aggregation by coin, cross-currency calculations. It may be that you have engine coin in your portfolio and you want to know, you're a Swiss person and you want to know what's engine in Swiss franc, or, so all sorts of these cross calculations that are required can be done. Time series, so historical data, tick data, candlesticks, and so on in different formats, 1 minute, 5 minutes, and so on. And searchable content. This is another important one because the data you have should be searchable and analyzable. You don't sort of want just a list of data. You want to be able to, search through that data. Crypto asset taxonomy. I mean, this could be a presentation on its own. It's really unfair that it's only a couple of slides here. But when I say crypto asset taxonomy, this is actually how one can do fundamental analysis for crypto projects. Meaning, talking about one cryptocurrency, let's say Ethereum. So Ethereum asset type would be, is it a payment token? Is it a utility token? Is it a security token? For Ethereum, we would be classifying it as utility token. And then, is it a stable coin? No, it's not a stable coin. Is it collateralized? It isn't. You can talk about their sector. So in which business is that particular coin operating? You can talk about token economics. Is it a coin with a limited supply, limitless supply? Or you can talk about technical perspective, what's the consensus algorithm behind it? Is it decentralized, or what about the anonymity? Is it pseudonymous or different? So these are the kind of different characteristics that one could look at any crypto asset and try to understand the project from different perspectives. And we've done some work on this, so that kind of information is now available through our API as well. So for any coin, we are able to tag the coin in terms of these different types of characteristics. Yes, so indices, that's another area. As we said, there are digital asset pair or digital asset indices, meaning what is the fair price for Bitcoin, for example. So, we are talking about price in Binance, price in FTX, price in Kraken, but you also need a fair price for Bitcoin. So you would need some sort of time-weighted and volume-weighted average of those exchanges. So we're also able to do some clever calculations like that. Yes, some examples from our front end there. You could also do, interesting historical analysis as to how a coin changed over time. Rather than, looking at a graph, you could also be looking at, different types of intervals. And an arbitrage grid. I'm sure everybody would actually like to have access to this kind of information. So, if a coin is trading slightly less in one exchange and much more in the other exchange, of course, that would be of interest to many of us. Sometimes we observe this, and we were able to find like 9%, up to 9% difference, depending on the timing and different news happening in the space. Okay, news data. Now, news data is also another piece of sort of important information because news are obviously changing the market. Speculations are changing the market very much. So we've done some AI, machine learning stuff on the news articles. We are able to tell you, how positive or how negative a news article is. And from then, we're able to make such graphs telling, how many positive news have there been for a crypto asset, how many negative news there are out there for that particular asset. So you can perhaps change your position for that. Okay, on the trading and portfolio stuff, very quickly, Through our API or the platform, you're able to send buy and sell orders to multiple exchanges from one place, so you don't necessarily have to be logged into 10 different exchanges and 10 browsers. This is also possible to do, and if you're an institution, you can simply utilize our API and do the same for your customers, or allow your customers to do this. And for portfolio analytics, we have a wonderful scalable engine. You could be inputting thousands of transactions, and then we would be telling you how your portfolios are performing. Let's say you've got 100 wealth managers out there, and then thousands of accounts. You're still able to quickly analyze their portfolios. Final notes for the curious audience. If you require data, access to trading, portfolio analytics or indexing services, come and talk to us. We're right behind this stage. It's Crypto Index Series again. And if you're a reseller, solution provider, or a consultant, marketplace owner, again, we are interested to hear from you. We can work together, be stronger together. Thank you very much for listening. Yes, I can take questions if there is any, of course, yeah. Lovely, thank you.